All right, everybody, welcome for another episode here. I'm here with my friend Luis from Flor de Cana. Welcome, Luis.
How you doing, my friend?
Good,
Happy
well-
to be here. It's a long way from Nicaragua, but it's the right place to be. I thought Nicaragua was hot. Texas is a whole different kind of hot.
Oh yeah, we're just preheating right now.
Yeah,
It's just
Very-
just barely getting hot.
yeah. For me, it's back home we got that humidity, but here, it's a different kind of heat.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily in the
Yeah.
studio, very very comfortable.
Yeah, there you go. It's nice and cool in here.
Yeah.
Thankfully. Awesome. Well, let's have you tell our viewers about yourself.
Well,
Who you are, what you do.
Yeah, I am the global ambassador with Flor de Cana.
Yeah.
I've been with the company for 5 years. My job is really to go around different parts of the world and talk about rum. So I get to meet cool people like yourself. I get to go to nice bars, nice restaurants, and show people how great a rum we have coming out of Nicaragua. And so for 135 years, the company has been putting out some of the best liquid out there. And it's my job to make sure that other people know about it.
Yeah, for sure. And how long have you been in the industry?
Well,
Doing this?
I've actually only been in the industry for 5 years. So it's they used to be my sponsors. I was telling you before the show that I used to work on in entertainment, and I used to work in radio. And so they were my sponsors. And after 9 years that we had the show on, they're like, well, you kind of already know our story because you tell people about it on the radio. And we kind of do want to expand our advocacy program. So how about you come on board? And I said, sure, let's go. And I've been there ever since.
That's awesome. And how long were you doing radio for?
I did radio for 9 years. I was doing radio and television. And so this setting with the cameras in front of us, this is kind of like going back to my roots.
And you're originally from Nicaragua?
I'm originally from Nicaragua. I live in a shack right next to the volcano where we age the rum. No, kidding.
Okay.
But I am from Nicaragua. I am from the source. I think it's one of those things where it brings a little authenticity when I travel and I talk to people about the product and about the country, just because I've lived there my whole life, except for a few years when I went to college. But yeah, it's a great country, and we love our rum, and we're very proud of our rum. So happy to be able to represent that when I travel.
Yeah, for sure. What has been one of the funnest aspects of this job that you enjoy the most?
I'll say I think the best part of it is traveling and meeting new people and seeing how they view the product, and seeing, especially when they try it for the very first time. So I've been to this wonderful event in Vegas the last 3 years. It's called Nth Universal Whiskey Experience.
Okay.
And so there are some of the highest end whiskeys, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 bottles that are out there in that fair. It's an exclusive thing. We have maybe 300, 400 people the last day of the fair participating. And my whole point is we've been the only rum at this event for those 3 years.
Okay.
And I find it so amazing how this product can stand up to that level of product from the whiskey world that's been doing it, for ages as well. And they've I think done a great job with the premiumization. And we've just in the last 15 years maybe started going that way and saying, well, we have liquid gold here in all these like aged profiles. And we want to make sure that people understand that it will stand up next to that super premium stuff, ultra premium stuff. You have the bottle of 25 here. This is amazing stuff, and we have a 30-year, and we're celebrating our 35th anniversary next year, 135th anniversary next year, and we'll have another rare release coming out. And we have some real special stuff.
That's awesome. I didn't realize it was the anniversary next year.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Since 1890.
1890.
Making rum in Nicaragua.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what is one of the challenges that we talk about is a lot of people. You're the first one we've come in who hasn't had like a direct bartender intro to the industry. How did you make that adjustment from being doing radio and media to now being a brand ambassador?
Hey,
and getting in this wild industry that we call the bar scene.
I'll tell you, the first year, and when I first started traveling, it was a little complicated for me because I don't have the stamina you guys have, man. because especially when you work in radio and stuff, you watch your voice. You're not staying out there late, partying, anything like that. All of a sudden, you're doing market visits, and you're visiting a bunch of different accounts. You're getting home at 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've had 8 or 9 cocktails. In the meantime, you're like, whoa, okay. I wasn't used to this. It's been a while since I do this. But I mean, you develop the stamina for it, for one. But the tough part for me was, in Nicaragua, we don't have a cocktail drinking culture. We drink on the rocks or with water. So it's a very simple cocktail, So getting into the different profiles that you find out here was challenging. And so what I did, especially during COVID, that 2020 year when I wasn't traveling, I started making cocktails at home, like pretty much everyone else did, right? So I said, I'm going to take these, 20 cocktails, classic cocktails. I'm going to learn how to make them, and I'm going to switch the base spirit to Flor de Cana rum. And the versatility of this rum allows you to do that. And so I started making all these things. Now it's where my friends are like, what are you making us? When they come over, it's like, what are you making us? And they want to have those cocktails. So I've learned a little bit. Definitely not a bartender, but at least I think I've been around the industry enough in these last 4 years since we started traveling again, where I understand the industry and I admire the people behind the bar to a whole new level once you learn what they do and their process and their hours and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's definitely, having owned a bar and still doing consulting and everything else, it can be, like this week, I'm probably going to push 60 hours because we had menu launches and stuff. So, yeah, it can be long hours, but I love doing it.
But I
love it.
But I think that's what it is. It's passion for these people. We've done the Sustainable Cocktail Challenge, the bartender competition the last few years. And every time I get together with the finalists, you were there at the final last year with your friend,
Tiffany.
Tiffany,
Tiffany.
Toasted Coconut, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Every time I sit there with the finalists, I always tell them it's not very common to be able to be in a place with other competitors, with other people who share your same passion for, in our case, sustainability, but the cocktails and the work that you put in to create these things, the creativity behind it. And so it's always great to see them, kind of talk to each other and create new friendships and that synergy of, hey, what did you do? And how'd you do this? And how'd you do that? And I think that's a beautiful aspect of the bartender community. The camaraderie that exists. Obviously, there's always competitiveness as well, but the camaraderie is there, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one thing that this industry does real well is the everybody kind of supports everybody on our ventures. We try to, at least. There's some subsets that want to stay in their lane and do their own thing, but it's any industry you talk about.
Well, right? I think anytime that you have, for example, rankings, right? There's always going to be like an ego aspect to this where, I want to be top dog. And if you are, say, in that top 10, it's like, why am I even bothering with these non-top 10 people or non-ranked people? And so I think in some instances you can see that. But overall, that is not the what would I say, like the mood around the industry at all. It is super friendly. I've been to Tails, I've been to San Diego cocktail weekend not too long ago. And it's great to see just bartenders having a good time, letting loose. And you guys do let loose. I will say, you guys do let loose.
Yeah, everybody knows how to party in this industry.
They're like, well, today I'm not serving. I'm just here to have a good time. And they do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Patrick,
So,
can you move your mic more that way? Because when you face him,
mic. There you go. Cool.
better.
Cool.
You're killing it. As soon as he started, I was like, is he radio or something? And then it hit. I was like, oh, yeah, this is a easy day for him.
Cool. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Much better.
Cool. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the cocktails, because I know you mentioned that you were doing some cocktails during COVID. So what kind of cocktails were you making?
Well, first thing I made was a daiquiri.
Okay.
And I figured, it's lime, sugar, and rum. This feels like something I can do. Not very intimidating at all. And I loved it. And now I play around with it. We have this wonderful fruit. I think in the U.S. Or in English they call it dragon fruit. It's red with spikes. So now I do the dragon fruit daiquiri, and it is a killer, my friend.
Yeah.
It is absolutely delicious. Obviously, an old fashioned. I tried a painkiller. I tried, these coffee cocktails got popular around the same time. Remember that Dalgona challenge or whatever? You would whip it up.
Yeah, the foamy coffee.
All that stuff. So I started doing that. Obviously, the espresso martinis, which we have a coffee liqueur as well, and so making that with Flor de Cana. What else? I tried so many. It's it was 2020.
Yeah.
As a 44-year-old man, my memory doesn't serve me all that right. But a Manhattan.
Okay.
It's classic.
Manhattan.
It's pretty much classic cocktails.
Okay, cool.
But they were great. I'd say that the one I make the most though is different variations now on the daiquiri, and obviously an old fashioned. I do love an old fashioned. I saw you guys had a humidor over there, so I'm a cigar smoker.
Yeah.
Myself, and I'll go out on the terrace and I'll either do like a neat pour of the 25 if it's been a good week,
Yeah.
or if not, I'll make myself an old fashioned and just sit there on the terrace after everyone's gone to sleep, because obviously I'm not gonna compete. Cigar smoking, like drinking like a nice spirit. I feel you need to be in a mood where you can enjoy it. You're not supposed to be just like banging them down like that. That's what the snackeries are for when you go out.
Okay.
But when I'm drinking some of this like higher end stuff, I just want to relax, have a good time, light my cigar, and everyone needs to be asleep because I don't want to be talking. I'm just enjoying.
I just want to sit there and kind of be in your space.
Yes,
Hang out.
yes, it's my time.
Yeah, gotcha. So talking about the daiquiri is my favorite cocktail. What's your build recipe on your daiquiri?
It depends on the one, on which one I'm doing. But so here's an interesting thing. In Nicaragua, we drink the rum at 35 ABV.
Okay.
So not 40 ABV. So it depends if I'm making in Nicaragua, if I'm making it in the US, because 40. 80 proof to 70 proof makes a huge difference in the balance of that cocktail. And coincidentally, it also depends on how the acidity of the actual lime or lemon, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know this. I figured you just put whatever, but I've had daiquiris where you're like, oh my God, this is so tart, because no one actually started thinking of, this lemon was extremely acidic versus another one. So I usually do 1.5 ounces of rum, 0.75 of lime, and depends if I'm using syrup or just sugar. About 1/2 ounce of syrup, and then give it a good shake. Stir it down. If sometimes I use that for example, for the dragon fruit one, that's already like mixed with lemon, so it's kind of like a lemonade with the dragon fruit. And so I'll go a little bit bigger on that one. I'll do 2 ounces of that and 2 ounces of the rum, and maybe not even throw in any sugar for that one, or maybe just a little bit if I want a little bit of that touch. Depends if I'm making it for my wife too. If she likes it a little bit sweeter, I like it a little bit more tart. So depends.
Yeah, so you have more of a drier palate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So you want the
that's citrus.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome. So the big question is white sugar daiquiri or simple syrup? Which one's your preferred?
I will say I'm more of a simple syrup guy.
Okay.
Just because it's easier, and I make the simple, and so it's one of the ways that I recycle these bottles. Like I'll start making my syrup and I fill it up,
back in here?
and just
That's
put it
great,
right back in there,
Yeah.
and it's in the fridge. And sometimes I've used it for pancakes, You just got to make sure you're getting the right bottle.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to drain your pancakes in something else.
Yeah.
But so, for example, with that simple, I'll make like a variation of it. So I'll throw a little jalapeno in there. So it's
Okay.
a spicy daiquiri
Yep.
instead of just a regular. Or if you throw, a little vanilla in there, again, you change it a little bit. Depends on what you're making. I wouldn't use the vanilla for a daiquiri, but I would for an old fashioned, right? So or even the espresso martini.
Yeah.
But definitely use the spice for the daiquiri.
Okay.
A spicy a watermelon daiquiri or a spicy dragon fruit daiquiri.
Yeah.
Woo,
Okay.
buddy.
Yeah, the watermelon daiquiri is intriguing to me. I've never actually had a watermelon daiquiri now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Thinking about it, but
Oh yeah, yeah. So we have a cocktail called the jicarita, which is pretty much a spicy daiquiri, a spicy watermelon daiquiri that we do. And I think the build for that one is 1.5 ounces of the rum,
Okay.
1.5 ounces of watermelon juice, 1/2 ounce of jalapeno syrup,
okay.
and that's it. And that's it. And do that, and it's really good. And we serve it in this beautiful vessel called a jicara, which it comes from a fruit in Nicaragua. So it's a sustainable daiquiri, we like to say, because it's part of using everything in the watermelon. We use the watermelon then to use for the garnish.
Okay.
With a little tahini.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm getting thirsty already.
Yeah,
It is Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is Friday, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. The watermelon. What was the fruit you talked about again? What was that fruit from Nicaragua?
It's called the jicara.
The
Jicara
jicara.
fruit. So
Okay.
it grows, naturally in Nicaragua all over the fields, and it was traditionally used to make to use as plates and drinking. So what they do, you take this fruit. It's a beautiful green fruit like this, but it's not edible, right? And so you take out all the pulp. You boil it, they dry it, they kind of peel it, and then they use it as a vessel to drink, and that's from our ancestors.
Okay.
They've been doing it that way from like the native Nicaraguans, and they also the shell is hard, so they also cut it up and use it as a spoon, and so they would use it as that. So it's pretty interesting. So we were looking for something that was very traditional from Nicaragua. And so we said, why don't we use a jicara? And we found this one family that had a lot of jicara growing on their grounds. And they were already making these vessels. And if you go to a Nicaraguan market, you'll find them with some engravings and stuff like that. And we said, all right, so this is what we want. We created what we wanted the vessel to be, and all of a sudden it became so popular. We were getting asked for 3,000 of them from France, and 4,000 of them from the U.S.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh! And the family, it's fantastic. It's a great story because the family, it was just 2 of them working on it. Now it's 2 families. It's like the neighboring family and them, and it's 25 people who work on getting these products when it's season. So again, I find like that's sustainability as well, right? Like helping out the community and building up the community's economies, and it still is a great partnership that we have with them to this day.
That's awesome. That's a cool story too.
Yeah.
How I agree that you guys helped them with that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this will be a good little segue into Nicaragua life. So let's talk a little bit about Nicaragua. I've never been there. I'm sure some viewers have been there, but I haven't been there. What is it like living out there? I know the culture is completely different here than in the U.S.
I am very biased because I love my country. I'm very patriotic in that sense. I think Nicaragua has. I think the greatest thing about Nicaragua is that we love to host people. And I say this because if you've never been, when you go, you will get the sense that everyone is happy that you're there.
Okay.
And I feel like that is our greatest description or greatest attribute as Nicaraguans. We are very warm people. We genuinely like having people around. We, you see it even with the poorest of people. Like they will open up their doors and come in and serve you in any way that they can and make sure that you have a great time and you have a great experience and everyone's walking around with a smile. Obviously, it's a very poor country in general,
Okay.
but it offers a lot of great things. It's actually very safe. There's always, political strife that comes around in most Latin American countries. I would imagine, and I would say, but overall, it's very safe and it's beautiful. We have beautiful landscapes. It's called the land of lakes and volcanoes. So there's a lot of water. We have water on both sides, Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, and we have two huge lakes right in the middle of our country as well. Beautiful beaches, great food. Wow, it sounds like the Ministry of Tourism should be hiring me. No, but as you mentioned the segue before, the volcanoes is actually something important for us, and the volcanic nature of Nicaragua actually helps out. You see our bottles and you see our logo, the volcano is always present everywhere because our distillery is only 5 miles away from Nicaragua's tallest and most active volcano called the San Cristobal. And that volcano is amazing for us, and really gives us a lot of the character that Flor de Cana has because of the ash. Have you seen a volcano? Okay, so this huge volcano has little explosions throughout the year, but it's not like National Geographic, and the lava flowing down or anything like that. No, these are little small explosions that just put a lot of ash around the area, and now we have 30,000 acres of sugarcane planted around it, and so that volcanic ash lands on that crop, on that soil, and it just fertilizes the land. Obviously, the water that's underneath the earth is filled with volcanic minerals because it's volcanic soil. And then the climate, and we were talking about the humidity and stuff like that. The climate in Chichigalpa and Chirandega, where the volcano is and the distillery is, it's super hot and super humid. And so aging in that climate is very interesting. We walk out there right now, and our pores are just going to open up and we're going to start sweating like crazy. That's what happens with the barrels as well, pretty much. It's a good analogy for it. The barrels kind of, expand because of the heat, and they just interact with the rum all year round. So that volcanic climate, super important. We have plenty of mountains. We have, again, with cigar smoking, I think the three great things that we do well in Nicaragua is coffee, cigars, and obviously rum. And so, man, if you ever come down there, you let me know. I'll take you to our distillery, but I'll take you to some coffee fields, and so you can experience that and go see the cigar baking process as well.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun trip. So we talked a little bit about when we first started and before we started recording. You were talking about the drinking culture out there, and you said it's not really cocktail driven; it's more just straight neat pours and easy.
Yeah, and not neat because again, when it's 85 to 95 degrees every single day of the year, you're drinking it on the rocks. Always, you always need a tall glass of ice with whatever it is that you're drinking because it's hot all the time.
It's always hot.
It's just hot and rainy or hot and dry. That's it. But it's always hot.
It's always okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. As far as cocktail culture, though, is there any cocktails out there whatsoever outside of highballs? Do you see a lot of fresh juices being used in anything on the streets?
You see some of it. A few years ago, we started, actually, Flor de Cana, this is before I was there, did a national competition to create a national cocktail. And it ended up being called Macua, which uses, local fruit, a local fruit. I don't know what it's called in English. But yeah, you see it, but not very much. Again, most people are going to be drinking with water or sparkling water, and that's it.
Okay.
And that's it. That's going to be the majority. Great thing is they've moved on from Coca-Cola. So it's not a bunch of Cuba Libres, which when you have this kind of product, you don't want to see it.
Yeah.
But again, guys, once you buy it, you drink it however you want.
Yeah, it's yours to drink.
Yes, 100%.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit about your travels, because because I know you're the global ambassador, so you've probably traveled to all the major cities.
Oh, yeah.
across the globe.
Yeah.
What trends are you currently seeing now in the industry in your travels? Like, are you seeing something that's consistently popping up at every single bar you've been to?
It obviously depends on type of bars, right? Like the more craft cocktail bars are always going to be pushing the edge, trying to come up with the next big thing with something that's super elaborate. And I'm always thinking when I see that, I was like, man, what happens when they order 10 of these? Like how do you keep up with the volume and the velocity of it? And I would say people like to tinker with these things and create these super elaborate stuff. My friend Daniel Nevsky is and we've kind of partnered with him for the last couple of years. And he's talking a lot about enzymes.
Yes, I've been seeing that lately. Yeah.
Which I haven't had yet, but I feel like that's a trend that's coming, right? With the enzymes and see what they're doing. Obviously, it'll depend on the different areas of the world. Like the Europeans, very posh, very very clean in the way they present things, and very minimalistic. I would say you come to Latin America and it's a lot more. Pompous in a way. You see a lot more of the smoke and put in these glass things that are very elaborate in the way they look. I think my Latin bias says I like that, but then again, when I sit at in Spain at a very nice bar and they put this just beautiful coupe with just the liquid, and it just looks so pristine. You don't want to drink it.
Yeah.
But they are kind of small. So, that I feel like maybe that's part of another trend. Like they're very small pours in that sense.
Yeah.
And in the U.S., I love the fact that the classics are still the classics. You still walk into any bar, any restaurant, and you'll find that old fashioned, a daiquiri, a martini, or espresso martini. Yeah. And they have different takes on how they want to do them and how they want to present them. But I think those are still like the sellers. Like people are not necessarily wanting to try something crazy. I could be wrong. It could just be the places that I walk into. I don't know. I'll ask you the same thing. Like, what do you see here in Houston?
In Houston, it's a little bit everywhere right now. So one thing I talk about pretty frequently is the fact that here in the South we have sweeter palates. So if you come anywhere here in Texas, like Georgia, Louisiana, the drinks are
have
sweeter.
The sweet tea.
Yeah, yes, yep, exactly, sweet tea. If you go more to the East Coast, you're getting more of the drier style, where it's more citrus forward and less sweet. So it's very interesting when I was doing the competitions, talking to other bartenders and seeing their build styles, and you can very clearly see what style of bartending and where they're from based on what they're doing, right? Because you can see if they're leaning a little bit heavy on syrup in a recipe. Like, okay, cool. They might be from this particular region, or it's the specific market they're in.
Yeah.
Right? Like here in Houston, there's certain clientele that want it sweeter. So as a consultant, I've had to adjust what I'm used to doing for my clients because they want something that's sweeter.
Yeah.
Not necessarily something I want to do because it's not a balanced drink per se, but that's what they request, and that's what we have to do as consultants. So,
and definitely, I think that definitely happens in any industry, right? Like you're always looking around to your cohort and what they might be doing. So I remember last year with these competitions, I did the Miami one, which was for the East Coast. I did one in Austin, which was for Central, and then I did one in LA, which was for the West Coast. Definitely changes in styles everywhere, right? From those three competitions, and even on the West Coast, on the East Coast, for example, we had a couple competitors from New York, very different from what the Miami people were doing. Very, very different, right? Like they were using rice, or like a rice wine, something in the recipes, and then you get to Texas, and everyone in Texas was using some sort of like banana.
Oh yeah, there was.
In the recipe, you remember that?
Yeah, there was a lot of bananas.
There was like 3 or 4 different variations on the bananas. The winner had banana in there, like a banana cream or whatever. And then you get to California, and it's a whole different ballgame. Like I can tell you that those 3 winning cocktails taste nothing like each other from east to west. Nothing like each other. And you asked me like what I see a trend. I feel like tiki is making like a little bit of a comeback too.
Yeah.
Like I see like elevated tiki
Mm-hmm.
being out there, which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous because those are way too easy to drink
Strong, those are strong drinks.
and easy to drink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But delicious.
Yeah.
But I think that might be making a comeback. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been seeing. You are right. I've been seeing actually a lot more tropical tiki style cocktails
Yeah.
on menus, especially here in Houston. At least the bars I've been going to. But it's also we're always hot here
Yeah.
too. Like
There you go.
Like I said, it's preheating right now. We're not even at the peak of how hot it's gonna get.
Yeah. So when should I not be here?
Give it another month. So like towards the end of July, it's gonna be pretty miserable.
Yeah. Oh.
August, September is when it gets kind of really hot and it feels like an oven in here.
Oh
And
man.
I can see it in my electric bill every year.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
up,
That's
the AC
well.
starts going up.
I live in that electric bill
Yeah.
all year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But like I said, it is a different kind of heat. I'm gonna be actually in Vegas next week, and it's like 110 degrees.
Yeah.
So
Vegas is dry
you're in the desert, right?
Yeah.
They always say it's like stay hydrated. I'm like
Yeah.
it's 110 degrees. I'm obviously gonna stay hydrated. It's just gonna have to be the right hydration. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, kind of going back to the competitions, like you kind of nailed it with when a lot of the competitions will have different regions, and I love that because they start pulling people from different
Yeah.
areas, and like you nailed it right there, where you had like New York's doing different, California's doing different, and Texas doing different.
100%.
So that's real cool about this industry, and I love the competition aspect, and like with Flor de Cana as the sustainable bartender, it's also a great competition to be part of.
Yeah.
And
We start our competitions, our finals Tuesday on the 18th.
Oh, wow.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going. I'm going to Austin. That's where.
that's right. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, the final's going to be there. We changed the format a little bit this year, so it's only going to be. We only have 3 finalists as opposed to 10 that we had last year. We have one person from Houston going. I can't remember what the account was, but someone.
I think he's from Musafar.
Musafar, yes,
Yes, I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes. And so we'll see what happens. But Houston's going to be represented. And I enjoy those competitions so much, just because and I get nervous with the competitors. Like I'm empathetic in that sense. Like I actually feel like when I see someone serving and they're like this, and you see their hands shaking, man, it kills me because I want to go like it's okay, just relax, just build it,
take a
build
breath.
it, and people are gonna love it. But I understand like the performance anxiety that can come with it, and usually when you are behind a bar, you're kind of in control. You're the one that's making the cocktail. You're the one that is going to serve it to the client and decides when someone's going to get their drink and when they're not, if they're being loud, rowdy, or whatever, which is power, again. Yeah. And I think it's the fact that when you're up there being judged, the power is out of your hands. It's in somebody else's hands. I think that's what it comes down to, because they're obviously, these are professional bartenders who do this every day. They're not like nervous about making a cocktail. They're just nervous about not having the power to decide if that's going to be the best cocktail or not. Yeah. And one of the things I always tell them is like, it doesn't matter if you've made it to a finals. It means you're a great bartender and you had a great cocktail. Yeah. After that, it's just it'll depend on who the judges are, because we just talked about it. You have a drier palate, maybe I have a sweeter palate. Yeah. And maybe our friend has likes something a little bit more bitter or a little bit more, whatever it is, smoky or whatever. And so the judges are going to be the same way. Like they'll judge you on your technique and stuff in a pretty standard way. But when it comes to whether the cocktail is attractive in the way that it looks, it'll depend on your own biases, whether. And how it tastes. Again, it'll depend on your preferences. It doesn't mean that you can't be fair, but at the end of the day, wouldn't your personal preference, play a part in this?
Yeah.
If one of these cocktails tastes better to me, am I not gonna score it better? And it doesn't necessarily taste better to the other 2 or 3 or 4 judges there. So it's a very complicated process to judge. I don't envy judges at all. I feel like they have such a tough job because it doesn't matter who they pick. There's other people that's going to be upset and say, oh, well, they didn't take this into account, or, oh, no, this and that. Yeah. It's a tough job.
Yeah, judging is hard. For the past 2-3 years, I've been a paper judge for a competition, and that's even harder because I'm reading the recipes. That's what I was talking about. Like, I can read a recipe and I can say, okay, cool, I can see what you're trying to do here.
Yeah.
I can't taste it. I can assume what it's going to taste like based on my experience.
Do you ever read it and like, huh?
There
And then
ha-
does that go and make it and be like, I need to see what this tastes like because yeah.
especially this last year when I was doing the round one judging, there was some stuff I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about that before.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued now.
Yeah.
And then there was some like, I don't know where you're going with this. And then I read the essay and I'm like, okay, I kind of understand what you're doing, but the cocktail doesn't read balanced.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't read that. So I need
yeah.
so I need to try.
Yeah.
I would imagine that would happen. I can't. We did Sustainable Cocktail Challenge. It's a global event, right? Right. So we just had our final in February this year.
Okay.
We had 32 contestants from around the world come in, like 32 different countries. To Nicaragua, that's where the final was.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing to be able to do. But when we had our first final, we had to do it online because of COVID.
Okay.
And I remember reading those cocktails, and some of that stuff, I just couldn't understand, like how they would work. And so I would tell one of the bartenders that was working in the company, I was like, "Can you try to make this? Because I wanna be able to experience this."
Yeah.
Because I have no idea where this is going. Like I remember the first time I tried a cocktail with fat wash. I couldn't understand that.
Yeah.
That's not something that we normally see in Nicaragua. So
Okay.
I couldn't understand it. And then when you actually start trying it, you're like, oh, there's a texture there that that's not there normally that I actually love.
Yeah.
I just saw a recipe the other day that I saved on my phone because I want to try it. It's like a butter wash.
Oh, yeah. Butter washing's fun.
It looked, I want to make that butter wash old fashioned, just to get what that texture is going to be like. It's very intriguing. So I think going back to the trends, I think some of that stuff is very trendy right now,
Yeah,
right? Like
fat washing has been
the different
styles. Have been coming
different
back
kind of
again.
washings and the clarification of some of these cocktails as well. I tried one in Miami where it was a clarified, I want to say like pina colada version of something. And ooh, it tasted like dessert.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can have one only, right? Because it's very sweet, but it was an amazing one. So more trends. Hey,
Yeah,
keep
for
them
sure.
coming.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
exciting for us.
Yeah. Clarified milk punches are definitely
Yes.
around to stay.
Yeah.
I think they're not going to go away. And
No.
people, it's fun. I love doing clarification. It just sometimes it's just a tedious process.
But that's what I was gonna head to. Like, it's so time consuming to do something like that. It's incredible, and there's obviously a payoff to it, but it does take a long time.
Yeah.
So if you try to like pre-batch this stuff, it'll take.
Yeah, it takes a full day. So again, it depends on what kind of bar we're talking about, right? So like there's some bartenders that don't have as much equipment access like we do, like I do for my consulting company because I have a centrifuge, I have a spinzall, so it cuts my time pretty quick on it. But before, when I started getting into it, I didn't have the equipment, so it would literally I'd be making maybe 22 quarts of batch, and literally I was just there filtering for almost a day. I just started in the morning when I got there, and then I would go and I'd have like 4 different filtrations going, and I just go through and I just change it every couple of hours or so.
Yeah. Do you feel like a mad scientist when you're doing like,
It is fun, yeah.
Let's pour.
Just pouring. And I mean, it's worth the process.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
If you have the time and you have the patience to do it, then yes, definitely.
For sure. I love one of the things you asked me about travel. Is that one of the things that I enjoy the most about traveling is trying these wonderful cocktails for the first time, and because of my experience, not my experience, but because of how I was raised and my culture, I don't drink a lot of cocktails. I'll still go in there and I'll ask for 18-year Flor de Cana on the rocks with a twist of orange, which is my favorite way to drink it. And I'll have that for the most part. But I always have one or two cocktails because I just want to try what the bar is offering and, learn. And if I'm intrigued, like you said, then I'll be like, all right, let me take a picture of this, and then I'll try to make it at home, see if I can do it.
At home.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, if I see something in another bar, I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
I wonder what they're doing here. And then normally if you start talking to a bartender, they tell your industry right away, depending on what you're saying.
Yeah.
And we'll start talking.
And they'll
talking
share.
shop, and they'll share a little bit.
They'll share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it goes back to us being like, we want to help each other
Yeah.
grow. Like, there's been some bars where I've gone to where they don't want to share, and I get it. It's cool. It's your recipe. You want to hold it close.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like, well, always hold back on that one little secret, right?
Yeah.
Like grandma's cookies. Like, you're not gonna tell everybody about how grandma made the cookies.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the family recipe.
Yeah, for sure. Close the door real quick.
Yeah.
Cool. So kind of getting back to, let's talk a little bit about your favorite bar experience. So what let's talk about your top three, because I know you travel a lot. So
Yeah.
your top three bar experiences, what made that experience unique? Was it the bar? Was it the cocktail? Was it the bartender? Was it the entire experience wrapped in one?
Man. Oh man, that's a great question. I think it's a variety of all three things.
Okay.
First, I will say this: hospitality industry is 100% tied to. Hear me out. This is crazy. Hospitality.
Yeah.
So if you walk into a bar, I don't care how great that drink is going to be. If there's not that hospitable, like warm mood of service with a smile, and I'm going to make you your best drink, and I'm going to serve you the right way and talk to you the right way, I don't care how great the drink is. It's not going to taste good. Everything tastes better when it's served to you in a nice way. You know what I mean? So I think hospitality is very important in that sense. I think I remember one in Mexico City. I want to say Hanky Panky. It might be because I visited 3 or 4 bars that day. But it's a small speakeasy. Maybe 30 people in there at the same time. Yeah. Amazing cocktails served in a way that's fantastic. But everything was cool from the moment you walk into that speakeasy to the minute you walk out, which you walk out of a fridge. And so I think that whole experience made that bar, stand out for me forever. Yeah. Which was great. So, for example, I went to one here in Houston called Amelia's. That is a speakeasy type, the same way. Yeah. But because I had been to one before, it didn't have the same impact, like shocking, because I'd never been to one before that time in Mexico City. But it's a beautiful place that you walk through the kitchen, and all of a sudden you walk in and it's like a club with like a Latin band playing, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, so much fun. Yeah. So that Mexico City is definitely one. Café La Trova in Miami. Yeah. Julio Cabrera, who is a good friend. The first time I visited, it's funny because we collaborated for like 4 years before I actually visited La Trova in Miami, being one of the cities that I visit the most. But I just never made it. Like, the agenda just never allowed it. Yeah. The first time I visited, the drinks were incredible. From the minute you walk in, it's the same thing. It's like that mood, that vibe, where it's very welcoming. And then when the bartenders start singing behind the bar, and they're doing their Cuban thing and dancing, and Julio's back there with his son and his wife, and it's like a family thing. Yeah. I thought that was incredible. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. Loved it. And then I'd probably say this one bar, I can't remember, Salmon Guru in Spain, in Madrid. Incredible. Incredible bar. I was there for another event, but there was like a guest bartending going on, and so there was this Swedish bar that was in Salmon Guru that night. And you know what I loved about that place? The patrons. Okay. It was maybe 60 or 70 people in there, and they were so engaged with the guest bartending, and these guys were like in the middle of the room telling them like how they were building this super weird Finnish or Swedish cocktails.
Yeah.
That, like very, very different that from what I'd been exposed to at least. And everyone was kind of into it. And they sold out in like 35 minutes.
Oh, wow.
The whole pre-batch
Yeah.
that they brought to this thing. So that experience was really cool. And the place itself is pretty cool. Salmon Guru in Madrid. So.
Okay, cool.
And I feel so bad because I probably left so many other cool ones out there that didn't come to mind, but you put me on the spot. You did put me on the spot.
Sorry. I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's a great question. I love it. I love asking that question. So.
Yeah. How about you?
My favorite bar experience will probably have to be. So it's a bar. So when I first moved to Houston 6-7 years ago now, I was out in the Woodlands, didn't know much, and then I came into town once and went to a bar called Moving Sidewalk.
Okay.
And I walked into that bar, and his name was Shane. He still works around town, but he was the first bartender, like true bartender experience I had in Houston, and that was probably my favorite bar experience I've had. So
You'd never forget the first one.
yeah, for sure. But just it's again the hospitality.
Yeah.
That was as soon as I walked in the door. Yeah, like as soon as I feel comfortable here, and he literally just broke all the barriers down. I felt super comfortable at the bar.
Have you ever walked into a bar and you're like, I don't want to stay here? It's like it's so stuffy and it's just that you've just made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All the time. Well, not all the time, but it's happened.
There's still bars in this town too that are like that. So.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened to me in Houston, but it's happened to me in other places, and I'm like, I don't get it. Why, why would you create that atmosphere? Like what's the payoff here? Like what's the end game?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure. I mean, people nowadays too, like consumers are more educated. They know what they want, and then they expect the hospitality that comes with it too, right? Especially as costs are going up. Even more.
And the cost thing is interesting. Would you say that most people are drinking maybe less, but drinking better?
Yes.
As in, like they're not having 10 drinks, but they're having 4 better quality products as they drink?
Yes, definitely. I definitely think that's also a trend.
Yeah.
As well as like people are very mindful of what they're drinking.
Yeah.
And they will spend money if it's a good cocktail made well and versus just having a bunch of shots or everything else. Like, granted, there is a market for that. Yeah. And it's more the younger demographic. But even the younger demographic nowadays are not drinking as much. Yeah. And we're seeing a downtrend on that end too. So it's a very interesting time we're in.
I don't know what it is that they might be consuming that, has them drinking less. Yeah. I don't even want to venture into trying to understand.
It's a healthy lifestyle. Yeah. Like a lot of them are pushing towards a healthy lifestyle. Like if you look on like Instagram and Reels and all that stuff, and the trends are the younger generation are healthy. Yeah. They want to be healthier.
Well, guys, Flor de Cana has no sugar. So there you go. That's, that's 1 point for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Try it sometime. Put it on your hands. Rub them together. See if they get sticky. Yeah. That's a good way to see if there's additives and sugar content in these drinks, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is a good segue into our last topic. Let's talk a little bit about Flor de Cana.
There we go.
Yeah, so
all right. I feel like I know something about this.
Yeah.
It's so it's a rum from Nicaragua.
Give us like the story of Flor de Cana.
Okay, so zoom in. I'm kidding. So Flor de Cana has been around since 1890. The story actually started in 1875. Okay. Our founder was from Italy, and he came to Nicaragua to start like a transportation route between the East Coast and the West Coast. He partnered with someone you guys might have heard of at some point, Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Oh, okay.
And so he was his partner, and this was before the Panama Canal, so it would be a transportation route from the East Coast through Nicaragua, which was because it has coast on both sides of the ocean, and we have that lake. That's what the route would be. Okay. And so instead of having the canal before the canal, that's what they did.
Okay.
Now, eventually, for many different reasons, one of them, the volcano being involved. The canal is built and the concession is given to Panama, right? And there was this famous moment where there was this. So when the U.S. Congress voted on the concession for the canal, we lost by 1 vote.
Okay.
And one of these people who were doing the what's it called when you the lobbying for Panama, he took the stamps from Nicaragua that showed the volcano erupting in the stamp and put it on the table of every single representative and said, do you think you want to make that investment in a country that has so much volcanic activity.
Okay.
And that swayed some boats, and we lost by one. And Panama Canal was built in Panama, and we got Flor de Cana. So I feel like we won, really.
Yeah.
And so our founder decided, well, that this transportation thing is not gonna last very much longer with another route opening up. And so he found this farmland and agro-industrial mill for sugar. And he has, we still to this day have the sugar mill, right? And that was the beginning of Flor de Cana. And to celebrate that first harvest, they distilled rum for the very first time. And after that, it was like, well, this is actually pretty good. Why don't we make this part of our company as well? And so it's the sugar mill and the distillery since 1890.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's how this story started. And so we've been doing it for a long time, mostly for Nicaragua, then eventually expanded to Central America, then eventually expanded to the world, and now we're in 74 countries around the world. It's one of the fastest growing premium rums out there, and definitely the most eco-friendly rum. So we talked about the Sustainable Cocktail Challenge a little bit earlier, and the reason that competition came about is because we were already doing, or we still do, our part, we feel. And sustainability has been part of the company forever. Like, and not only sustainability in terms of the environment, but also in the way that we treat the community and the way that we treat our collaborators. We think sustainability is all those three things: the environment, community, and collaborators. And so we have a company hospital since 1958. We have a company school since 1913, free for collaborators and their families. And this is before we had public education and public health care. So the family had that vision from the beginning. And it's still family owned today. 5 generations from, like father to son.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing.
That's cool. Okay.
Like my mentor always says, this is a very dramatic statistic, but only 3 in 10,000 family companies make it to the 5th generation, which is nothing.
Yeah.
At some point, the 3rd generation wants to be a singer or an actor, and or want to sell off the company and just live off the money of it. But we've been doing it right for a while. And so going back to the competition, so we wanted to create a competition that kind of brought other people into it. So we have carbon neutral certification because we distill with 100% renewable energy. We've planted 1 million trees by now since 2005. All of these things that we do. We are fair trade certified. And we said, okay, so as a company, we're doing things correctly. Let's motivate other people in the industry to kind of join us. And that's why we created the competition, so that bartenders started getting into the sustainable cocktail mentality as well. And by addition, their patrons as well, right? Because if you are a bartender and you create a sustainable cocktail and you put it on that menu, and then the people in your area who care about sustainability is like, oh, let me taste it, and it tastes delicious, then it starts creating a conversation at least. Now, does that mean we're doing like picketing and all sorts of what do you call them?
Protests? Or,
like protests or anything like that.
Like
It doesn't mean that we are environmentalists.
Yeah.
Like Greenpeace or whatever it is. But we like to think that we do our part, and we try to motivate other people to do their part. And we understand that it's never perfect. We understand that you can never be 100% sustainable. But we also understand that it's a journey that we can all get on, and it's a mentality that we can all get on. And it's the small things like I was telling you earlier, how I recycle the bottles to use it for syrup, right? It's those small things that can start like making changes in people's minds. I'd never thought about that before I came to Flor de Cana. I finished that bottle, I threw it out. Now I use it for that, or I'll use it as a flower pot, or I'll do like a potpourri of oils and like there's so many different things. Hotels in Nicaragua, they use it as the water bottles in your room, and so that you just refill that. And when we recycle in Nicaragua, most of the glass anyway, but there's ways that accounts can get behind it as well, and I think that's really cool. So it's a wonderful company with great people behind it around the world. And at the end of the day, the liquid is incredible. I've yet to meet someone who tries it and doesn't like it. And we just got double gold for our 12 or 18 and our 25 at the San Francisco Wine and Spirits competition, which is awesome to have, our 3 super premium marks get that double gold at a competition. Usually you get one of your SKUs to get it, but to have all 3 of them, it's just a testament to the quality of the liquid. So smooth to drink. And it's so versatile. You can make it into pretty much anything that we find in these wonderful books.
For sure.
Even to cook.
Yeah, for sure.
You make a bananas foster with this and you flambe with a 12. Boom, delicious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sounds delicious, especially with a 12.
Woo, delicious.
Yeah,
Trust
sure.
me.
Question for you. Do they own the sugarcane fields?
Yes.
They do. So it's
Yes,
all
yeah, it's a
100%.
single state. It's a single state. And so we control the whole process. And I don't know how familiar you are with the process of making rum, but you have you have the sugar cane, you cut that down, you crush it, you get all the juice out. The juice is going to be separated. Some of it's going to turn into sugar. The rest of it is the byproduct is going to be the molasses. You ferment the molasses. After that fermentation process, you distill it, the alcohol, and then you age it. We age naturally, so when you see 12 years old, it's because every drop in this bottle is 12 years old.
So it is
18 is 25, it's the same thing. And then, after aging it, bottle it and ship it out, and we control that whole process. And the one thing that was left over from that process was the bagaces. So if you think about 30,000 acres of sugarcane being crushed, all that fiber that's left over, that's what we use as biofuel. And that's how we distill with 100% renewable energy using that bagases from the sugarcane. And we run the company 100% on that, and we have left over that goes to the national grid. So it's pretty cool process.
Yeah, for sure. So on age statements, so this one is true, just 12. There's no younger rums or anything.
No
'Cause I know
younger
some
rums in
brands
there.
are blend, like it's
Yeah.
the oldest barrel that they put in there.
And every time I talk about this, I always say this is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that they do it. I think it's just a different. It's the same with the sugar. It's not a bad thing if they add sugar. It's just it's good that you know it, and it's good that you choose what profile you prefer. But yes, this is nothing younger than 12 years old is in this bottle. Yes.
Cool.
Correct.
Of course, it's all about the blending, right?
Yeah.
Like everything's blended. So all rums, like I understand also why they do, like, it's 12, but they also do some 8 or some 4 in there because the master blender tasted those barrels and said, hey, I want this flavor profile in this rum or this spirit.
And like I said, we get that. It's normal, but there's also a beauty to knowing exactly what you're drinking, and a lot of times with that, it's you don't know what percentage is what, but here it's 12 years old, and
Sure.
that's a seal of quality, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And then as far as distillation for this one, is it column still or using a pot still?
Column stills.
It's columns.
Yeah, column stills. We do 5-time distillation, so 5 continuous columns. Yeah. So when you come down to Nicaragua, we get to go to the distillery and you get to see it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
How big is the facility? How many stills are in there?
Huge.
Probably big, right?
Huge. We're talking about. It's huge. It's our master distiller said to me, and I don't know if this was, hyperbole or not, but he said if we stopped production today, at the current demand for the rum, we can satisfy the markets for 15 years. That's how big our reserves are.
Okay.
Now he could have been exaggerating, but he was just trying to make a very clear, in my mind, how big our rum reserves are. We are sitting on one of the largest H rum reserves in the world. It happened in the 80s mostly because of the political situation in the country at the time. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen, and so they started producing on 100% and stockpiling it because you never knew if you were just going to have to cut production. All of a sudden, 90s come along and political strife goes away, and you're sitting on this huge huge reserve. And then I was like, oh, well, you know what?
Yep.
Let's make a 12-year. And 5 or 6 years later, we put out the 18.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with the 25. And that's how it came about. And today, now it's part of the strategy. So now we set aside the stuff specifically, and the master distiller knows exactly this is going to be aged for 25, and this is going to be aged for 18, and this is going to be aged for 12, and all like that. Yeah,
that's awesome. And does Flor de Cana have both a master distiller and a master blender, or does the master?
It's a master distiller.
He does everything.
Yeah, he's everything. Yeah, he's been our master distiller for 35 years.
Okay.
Fun story about him. He actually went to the company school.
Okay.
Because he's third generation working at the distillery.
That's cool.
So his grandfather started working there. His father worked there. While his father worked there, he sent him to the company school. That's where he graduated. Then he went off to college, came back, started working there, and now, has been running the facility for 35 years now.
Okay.
Pretty amazing.
That's cool.
That is pretty amazing.
That's definitely cool.
It's a cool story when we see that. Like our representative in China, for example, he was born at the company hospital because his father worked there, went to the company school, and is now our ambassador there in China. So that is a guy that lives literally has lived the brand in one way or another from birth, which is pretty amazing. But that's what happens with these companies where you have a lot of that. We have, I think, I want to say like 25% of the workforce at the distillery is at least third generation. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think that's a testament to knowing that shows that you're doing things right, where your family wants to come work at the same place that your dad worked. Because if they treated them like Eep, they'd be like, screw this, I'll go somewhere else. I'll find something else to do. But the fact that you want to come back and not necessarily do the same thing, but stay within the company, I think that's great.
Yeah, it's definitely great.
Yeah.
So last question I have for you is the aging.
Yeah.
So how big are the aging warehouses that you have?
They're huge. I was just doing a video in one of them last week. It was reshooting like the brand video. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to count them. I'm going to count them. Well, I didn't count every single barrel, but I counted the stacks and then how deep they were. And in that particular warehouse, there was 14,000 barrels. And that's the smallest one.
Okay.
And we have, I think it's 22 of these aging rooms. So it's a lot. It's quite a bit.
Yeah. How tall do
they
stack
do?
the barrels?
1, 2, 3, 6.
6 tall.
Yeah, six. No, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Okay.
So they do. Yes, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and what you do in terms of because we have such high angel share, it's 6%.
Okay.
Because of the humidity in the country. So what you do is you take one of these barrels from each stack. They're all the same from the same day, the same batch, right? So everything is the same age, same batch, same day. And you use one of those barrels to refill the other ones, because the less contact with oxygen there is, the less evaporation there'll be. So you want to keep them filled up as much as possible. But that's how you prevent from blending with other years and stuff like that. You keep everything based on the same batch from the same day. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Pretty cool.
Awesome. Cool. Well,
I don't envy them and how they go about this process in the warehousing. Inventory in general is a headache to me.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of barrels, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely that's a lot. That's a lot
Yeah.
for someone to take care of.
That is a lot. That's why it's a big operation.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can't have. It's not like we have one warehouse where we have all the 18 or one warehouse where we have all the 25, because a little fire, something happens, and that's done.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You kind of move them around. But I can imagine it's a nightmare for someone. Not my nightmare, guys.
Yeah,
I live the dream. I get to travel and eat and drink and be merry with you.
Hang out with us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Luis. Where can people follow you if they have any questions on Instagram, social medias?
Follow me on Instagram. It's gonna be a little hard, but it's Que Bárbaro 14. I'm so sorry. I set it up before I knew I was gonna be doing this thing.
Yeah.
But But yeah, Que Barbaro 14 or Que Barbaro 14. And yeah, and just follow the Flor de Cana socials, and I'll be tagged there sometime, at some point. But
Yeah, for
no,
sure.
no, follow me. I do. I love interacting with people. I really do. And every morning when I have my coffee for the first 45 minutes of my day, I have 2 coffees in the morning. That's what I'm doing. I'm on Instagram, so when I see you, for example, and I'm like, oh, this guy's doing something, I will comment. So
Yeah, for sure.
I love being in touch with the community, especially.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being in.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for watching.